Okay, I saw it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And it wasn't as good as the first one. This is a movie where you finally find out about Star-Lord's father. And the conflict sort of grows from there. And then there's a side conflict where the Guardians of the Galaxy are being chased by a bunch of gold people who are really sexy. There's that. And then there's another side story where Yondu, the head of the Ravager ship that originally employed Peter Quill, is, having some issues. So yes, Rocket is still funny. Baby Groot is absolutely adorable. And this is a major departure from what is commonly accepted in terms of the Marvel lore. Just as a point, normally Ego is not played by a character as cool as Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is a phenomenal actor. I've loved him in almost everything he's done. I've always respected his performance because it's always been really great, although I still feel that Still feel that his horror movies are my favorites, but still, he plays Ego. He plays a very different Ego than I've ever seen before. He plays a very effective Ego, but this is kind of a spoiler, but I guess everybody knows by now, that's not who the comics say Ego is. He doesn't have that relationship with Peter Quill / Star-Lord. So there's a big thing there. There's this huge departure from what the comics have said. So I had to look at that and think, because I've seen Ego a lot in the cartoons, and I'm not really a fan of the comics, but I've seen Ego a lot in the cartoons, and it's like it's a major departure. You look at that, you think, well, what the heck is going on? And then further, I've never seen a story before where Ego was a Celestial. Celestials are characters of extreme power in the Marvel Universe. We've never really seen, there was a scene in the first Guardians of the Galaxy where you see a Celestial wielding an Infinity Stone, and that's really deep into the lore, but really powerful thingy that only powerful things can have gets wielded by a character called a Celestial, which looks like a big 1940s-esque sci-fi robot with 6 eyes. Alright, so there, yeah. So Ego has never before been depicted as a Celestial, but I have to say, still, an excellent performance by Russell, an excellent performance by, I think it's Pratt who plays Peter Quill. Cooper, Bradley Cooper, still phenomenal as Rocket. I could watch him being Rocket Raccoon all day. The CGI is just superb. I really feel like I'm looking at a raccoon, a giant raccoon, but a raccoon nonetheless. And, Michael Brooker, is it Brooker? Brooker, yes. Michael Brooker as Yondu. His character is greatly expanded upon and given a story that I would not have expected from the original film. Sylvester Stallone shows up to be an ex, I guess, superior of Yondu, and just that character, you learn so much about him, and you really learn to like him despite the fact that he was essentially the villain or kind of a villain in the first movie. So I really warmed up to this character. I felt it was done very well. It's one of those things that there are a lot of characters in this movie that you either start out liking and your opinion changes, or you didn't necessarily like them to begin with, and then your opinion changes. This movie is very dynamic, and that's a beautiful thing about this film. So I would have to say that if you have the opportunity, you should go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. However, I will premise that with saying it is not as good as the original. Primarily because they just didn't pick as good music, I felt. That was my interpretation. I know other people will think differently, so I'd love to hear you. Try to be respectful. Down in the comments below, I'm Richard.